Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Education and asks which ministers, if any, did she personally consult with on the question of removing the requirement for police checks for employees of limited attendance early childhood centres before she introduced the Education Amendment Bill No. 2?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Education, I consulted with all my colleagues in the normal Cabinet process.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Why is she proposing to remove the primary protection against paedophiles working in gym and shopping creches?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, that is not correct. As has been explained in the House by the Minister a number of times, the advice is that the Education Act is not the appropriate place for regulation of an activity that is not related to education. Regulation laws such as the Occupational Safety and Health Act cover this situation, and there is a legitimate argument about the extent to which Parliament does try to legislate for police checks of anyone who is caring for children who are not in the care of their parents, and that includes everybody from Sunday school teachers through to sports coaches. That is a legitimate argument, but the Education Act is not the place to legislate for it.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Who is the Minister who will be responsible for the limited attendance centres when the legislation is passed?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, I don't have that information in front of me, but I'm happy to go and get the answer for you.
Supplementary question. In light of the fact that she will be the Minister responsible when the legislation is passed, will she take responsibility for ensuring that paedophiles do not work in gyms and shopping creches?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, that responsibility, as it should be, is primarily the responsibility of those who have responsibility for that workplace. It is the same responsibility as sports coaches or people who are running clubs or people who are running swimming lessons or music lessons. And I appreciate that this is a legitimate issue about which we may be concerned, and the Parliament would need to consider pretty carefully how far it goes with requiring police checks of anyone who is not a parent who is looking after a child.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Did she read the advice from the Ministry of Education prior to introducing the Education Amendment Bill No. 2 that warned her that an effect of it was to remove police checks from staff at limited attendance early childhood centres?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, yes, the Minister did read the advice, and she considered that advice in the context of the wider issue that we've been discussing, and that is that these centres are not providing early childhood education, therefore they won't be regulated in the same way as an early childhood centre. There is a legitimate issue about the extent to which the Parliament would require police checks of any adult who is supervising a child. In this context, the Occupational Safety and Health law does put responsibilities on people in charge of these workplaces to ensure that they take all practicable steps to make sure of the safety of the people in them.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Having received and read the advice prior to introducing the bill, why did she then tell the House during the first reading of the bill that it was not her intention to remove police checks from staff at limited attendance early childhood centres?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, I'm not sure the member is representing the Minister's comment correctly. The Minister was commenting to the effect that the Education Act was not the place for regulating these types of centres, any more than it's the place to write rules for sports coaches, to whom many of us parents commit the trust and care of our children for many hours a week, as we do with music teachers, as we do with people who run any kind of youth group. So the Minister has considered these issues and believes, as I think the Parliament would, there is a legitimate issue about how far Parliament goes to require police checks of any adult who is not a parent in charge of children.
Order,
Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr Speaker, I seek the leave of the House to table a document which indicates that at the first reading the Minister said it was not her
Order, what's this
intention
document?
to remove the cheques.
What's this document?
It's my Hansard.
Oh, we don't do that. Question number 7, Aaron Gilmore.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Revenue. What examples can you give